Everything you've heard about surviving a falling elevator is wrong. Jumping right before impact won't save you. Physicists have run the numbers. And that popular trick, the one you've probably heard as common knowledge, does almost nothing to protect you. You have 2 minutes before this cabin hits the bottom, and what actually saves you has nothing to do with timing a jump. You're 40 floors up and the cable just snapped. 1 minute and 55 seconds left. Here's what's actually happening to the cabin right now, and it's not quite the freefall people imagine. Modern elevators are required by engineering codes to have multiple independent safety systems, not just one cable. Elevator safety engineers point out that a complete freefall from a single cable failure is extremely rare in properly maintained elevators, because governor devices and safety brakes are specifically designed to engage the moment the car exceeds a safe descent speed. Most real elevator incidents involve a rapid, jarring drop followed by a hard braking event, not an uninterrupted fall all the way to the ground. Why does that distinction matter so much for what you do next? Because your actual danger isn't a smooth freefall. It's the sudden deceleration when the safety systems finally catch, or the moment of impact if they don't. That difference changes everything about how you should position your body. 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Let's talk about the jump myth, because it's the single most repeated piece of survival advice for this exact scenario. And mechanical engineers who study fall dynamics are blunt about why it doesn't work. To cancel out your downward velocity by jumping, you would need to jump with a speed that matches the cabin's fall speed at the exact millisecond of impact, which is far faster than human legs can generate and far harder to time than anyone could manage under panic. Even a perfectly timed jump only cancels a small fraction of your velocity. The math simply doesn't favor you. So what actually does help, if not jumping, distributing impact force across your entire body instead of concentrating it in your legs and spine, which is exactly what a poorly timed jump does anyway. This is where physics stops working against you and starts working for you. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Get your entire back flat against the cabin wall or floor, spreading your weight across the widest possible surface area. Biomechanics researchers who study fall impact describe this as force distribution, the same underlying principle that makes crumple zones in cars effective. Concentrated force on a small area, like your feet or your spine if you land upright, causes far more localized damage than the same force spread across your entire back and body. 1 minute left if there are handrails in the cabin. This is the moment to use them, not to pull yourself upward, but to help stabilize your position as the car decelerates or impacts. Engineers who study elevator safety systems note that handrails are specifically installed to give occupants something stable to brace against during unexpected stops, not just for everyday convenience. 50 seconds left. Here's a detail almost nobody expects about this whole scenario. The floor of the cabin in most well-maintained systems is not something you should be standing rigidly on right before an impact. Impact biomechanics specialists recommend bending your knees slightly rather than locking them, allowing your legs to absorb some shock rather than transmitting the full force directly up into your joints and spine, similar to how a controlled landing works in athletics. 40 seconds left. What about lying flat on the floor entirely? This is actually one of the more debated pieces of advice among safety engineers. Some argue it maximizes surface contact and minimizes injury risk. Others point out that lying flat can be dangerous if the cabin's own equipment, ceiling panels, or emergency lighting fixtures come loose during a violent stop. The more consistently recommended position is against a wall, back flat, knees slightly bent, which balances force distribution with protection from falling debris inside the cabin. 30 seconds left. Your instinct might be to scream, to claw at the doors, to search for any way out of the cabin itself. Emergency response specialists who train on confined space incidents are consistent on this point. Attempting to force open elevator doors during an active emergency descent introduces an entirely new category of danger. And the sealed cabin, as frightening as it feels, is actually the safest place to be positioned correctly. 20 seconds left. If you have a phone with signal, use whatever time remains to call for help or activate the cabin's emergency alarm. But don't let this become your primary focus over positioning your body correctly. Getting your body braced correctly matters more in these final seconds than anything you could communicate to the outside world. 10 seconds left. Modern elevator safety systems, including engaged governors and emergency brakes, are specifically engineered to activate well before an uncontrolled impact in the vast majority of real-world failures. Elevator safety data consistently shows that catastrophic freefalls resulting in severe injury are exceptionally rare compared to the frequency people assume, precisely because of these redundant systems working exactly as designed. 5 seconds left. Whether this ends in a hard braking event or, in the rare case, an actual impact, the position you chose in the last 2 minutes is what determines the outcome far more than anything happening in this final moment. Back against the wall, knees bent, weight distributed. That decision was made minutes ago, not now. Here's what all of this actually means for anyone who's ever felt that small flicker of unease stepping into a high-rise elevator. The 2-minute window was never really about the final 10 seconds or about some perfectly timed jump you'd never actually manage to execute anyway. It was about knowing calmly without panic exactly how to position your body the moment something goes wrong, because the physics rewards preparation far more than instinct. You had 2 minutes, and the version of you that survives this isn't the one leaping wildly at the last second, it's the one who got their back against that wall in the first 30 seconds. Knees bent, weight spread wide, letting the science do the work that panic never could.